Okay, now I got the water out of the microwave, and it's, as you can see, it's steaming. It's pretty hot. So you take and put 1 teaspoon, this is a teaspoon of baking soda in there. So it's gonna steam, like fizz up. Make sure that your baking soda is pretty exact. Put it in there, mix it up, make sure it dissolves, which is the main thing. Then you dump this in here, and then we're about done. So dump this in here. I even do this, which might seem a little silly, but I make sure every last bit of drip of baking soda water is in there, because I mean, that's part of the science experiment. Then you take your beaters. If you have a mixer, please watch this, because you don't want to mix this too long. You just blend these together. Get slightly frothy, and before long, you just take your, so just about like that, it's just mixed up, it's together. You take your crumbs and you dump them in, all of them, and you're done with them. You blend these, and you don't do these very long either. So you just want to get them wet and all around there. I don't even scrape the sides, I just kind of slosh it a little bit so that those crumbs fall in. And now it's done. Don't mix it too long, okay? So now I take my spatula, just kind of get the edges a little bit, get my beaters out of there. And now I'm gonna take the camera over to the pie. Well, actually I could bring it here. No, I'll bring the pie over, okay? I'll bring the pie over and show you how full it needs to be, okay? Hold on. So here's the pie plate. Can you see that? Let's see. Yep. So there's the pie plate. I made sure there were no air bubbles along the edge. If you ever use the rolled dough, that's what you want to make sure. And then you pinch the edges and get it ready. Now I'm going to get my crumbs. Crumbs over here. So I'll dump these in at the end, and then we'll put it in the oven. So here's what I do. I just take this and you pour it in. Just pour it in. Now, when you pour it in, you'll see it does not go all the way to the top of the crust. This is a big pie plate. This is an extra, it's 10-inch. I could, if you like making these, I can send you some if you want. But so I scraped out what was there, set that aside. So you can see that I'll zoom in. So I guess I can zoom in. Oh, here. See how full the pie plate is, okay? I have about a little 3/4 of an inch maybe, or so, maybe a 1/2 inch along the top. And the last thing you do is you take the crumbs like this in your hand, and you just sprinkle them all around the edges, in the middle, and you just make sure the crumbs cover the top. And then you got to be careful, because walking with this pie is not cool. In the oven, I have a mat on my rails, like on the rack, and I just make sure, because this stuff could cook out over, it often can be messy, but it still tastes yummy. You put this in the oven. Here, I'll put you, sorry about the jiggle jaggle, sorry. There. Here's the oven, okay? Put this in the oven on the rack in the middle of the oven, okay? Sloshes around, you have to go slow. In the middle of the oven, on top of like maybe a piece of foil, but not too big of a piece of foil, because you don't want to block the heat from coming up around, but you want to be able to get around the edges of the pie plate so that if it cooks over, it catches it. And I'll show you in the oven then.